Welcome to Keep Traveling Your African Story, the only podcast that shares the real voices and journeys shaping African tourism. I'm your host, 𝐸𝐿𝐸, and through my inbound tour operation, Keep Traveling, I've had the privilege of connecting travelers from all around the world with the magic of Africa. This podcast is my way of opening that world up to you, a place to learn about the people, properties, and opportunities that make travel across this continent so very special. Today, as an extension of a podcast that I did a couple of weeks ago, I'd like to introduce Glance Eloye-Nzoutani, who works at Kamba and is Africa's first trained wilderness guide in the Republic of Congo, who joins me to share his African story. Glance, welcome to the show.
Thank you, 𝐸𝐿.
It's good to have you on board. As I said, I did a podcast with Tina Plattner, who spoke about one of your properties, but I wanted to make sure that we covered the entire product which Kamba offers. But before we go there, I want to ask you about this first trained wilderness guide in the Republic of Congo. Tell me a little bit about what you've achieved by becoming this wilderness guide.
To give like a small comparison between Congo, because we don't have any regulation, like in South Africa when you have a Fogaza. So during all my training and where I am now, I can be compared to a lead guide into Fogaza standards.
Okay, so you can take me on a trek through the forest, just the two of us, and I should be comfortable that we're not going to be trampled by elephants or any danger like that, right?
Yeah, the two of us will be a little bit exaggerated, yeah. But we need a lead guide and a backup. So in case we have any charge from elephant, buffalo, whatever animals can charge us, so the backup will take you as a guest into a safe place. And as a lead, I will deal with the animal until I break the charge of the animals, and then I can join the group and then continue again.
Okay, well, if I come on a walking safari with you, I want to continue, whatever happens. Okay.
Good, that's really nice.
Glance, Tina spoke about one of the properties, Lango, but
Yeah.
I want to give you the chance to speak about Ngaga and Mboko. So first of all, tell me a little bit about Ngaga as far as the amenities at the property are concerned.
Ngaga is one of our camp, which is outside of the national park. It's not inside, it's completely outside of the national park, a protected area, which used to be under the local community's protection because they were hunting concession for the local people. But with the presence of Ngaga and the research camp and everything with the gorillas, it's turning to become a protected area. It's a very nice and unique place because it's completely submerged into the forest. And you'll be surrounded by trees which are like 50 meters tall. The rooms are inside and you have like a nice view of the forest, of the leaves, of the marantacea. So you are completely surrounded with leaves. And in terms of oxygen, you can have like, I could say that with all confidence, you will breathe like a pure oxygen. Not really pure, but a refined oxygen. And your lungs also, it will be good for your lungs. So Ngaga is a completely unique area. And it's a very nice place of the forest, submerged by the forest.
Okay, now I know Ngaga is the first stop of your tours. So tell me, what am I going to see at Ngaga as far as animals are concerned?
The main attraction, if I can use the word attraction, or the main goal is for the western lowland gorillas, because we have a high density of a gorilla in that area. I can give like 5 gorillas per square kilometers, which is a lot. And in that concession, which is 150 square kilometers, we have recorded around 50 families, and we have 4 families, arbitrated families. So that's the main goal. We are not going to take away that we can have like a red river hog, we can have duikers, blue duikers, Peter duikers, and we have a lot of birds, especially for birders. We can have a blue bee-eater, we have a forest hood owl. So it's all about the variety of even the trees. You have like enormous trees. One of my favorite trees is a dragon tree, and very tall and spiky leaf like a dragon scale. It's very amazing. Those are the kind of stuff we can see at Ngaga.
Are you saying that the stuff that I'm going to see at Ngaga is things that I would not see anywhere else in the Republic of Congo and anywhere else in Africa?
I would say yes, because for the western lowland gorilla in the Congo, we only have them like in north part of the country. like in Nwabalendoki National Park and Lac Tele, it's very north, and in the southeast or southwest of the Congo, in the park that we call Konkwachi Park, Konkwachi Nduli Park. So in between, it's a savanna, and it's rare to see like a western Lowland gorillas on that side because they love being into the Marantesi forest. The river hogs also want to hide because those areas are protected. And especially for this tree that I just mentioned, the Draconia mani, only in north of Congo. And the other place in the world that have seen those trees, it's Sumatra, the island in Yemen.
So now we've stayed at Ngaga for a couple of nights, and then we're going to do our canoe trip and the walk into Lango. Once we leave Lango, we are going to go to the third property, Mboko. Now tell me a little bit about that journey from Lango to Mboko.
The journey from Lango to Mboko, it's a very short one. It's like a 15-minute drive into the game viewer and a 15-minute walk on the shortcut that we call a boardwalk, which will reduce the distance between Lango to Mboko, because there's what we call logistic road, which took about 1 hour to go around until you get to Mboko. But that shortcut with a boardwalk made everything easier. It's a game changer because it's around 800 meters and you spend like 10 minutes and you are crossing like a forest, swamp forest, and to get into Mboko through what we call a river deck. So it's a small bridge that's jump over which this river we call 𝐸𝐸𝐸 River, which starts from Mbomo village and goes through the park until 𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸. And then you jump it and you arrive at the river deck and you are at Mboko camp, which is like a very unique camp. It's open and savanna camp on the edge of the river, and you have some termite man, some big termite man, like we call them cathedral termite man. And here you have the bungalows, which is placed along the river under the shade of the forest, which provide a cooling system like a small air condition, and it's very nice.
I just want to touch on the actual accommodation of the three different properties. Are they very different, or are they very similar, as if you're walking into a Marriott hotel where they all sort of similar kind of furnishings and layout?
They are different because each camp want to have this own personality. So I would say Ngaga and Lango, they quite the same because the roof is made with small wood and raffia palm, and it's like a nest but on the way around. And Mboko is completely different. It's a rectangular shape made into canvas, and you have a raffia rooftop on top. So, and you have like especially in Mboko, which is my favorite camp because I love the design of Mboko camp. So you have a rectangular shape. As soon as you get into the room, you have a bed in front of the room and the big windows, like an opening that's bring light inside.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about the food, because visitors in general, they worry a little bit about their stomach, that they might go hungry and people won't look after them. So tell us about the quality of the food and what people can expect as far as that is concerned.
I always make this joke with all the guests that I'm guided. That's we need to feed you at the point that the day you are going back, we can roll you until the airplane. It makes them laugh because this safari is completely different from other safaris. You give a lot of energy, you spend a lot of energy, so you need to take it back, so calories. So food is something that we don't joke with it here. When you are booking like an itinerary with us, Kamba, we give you a indemnity form in which you are going to write all your allergies and intolerance and everything. So we have all the chefs that are always aware of the intolerance, allergies and everything, and the diet of all our guests. Food-wise, we put a lot of effort to provide a high standard quality food for our guests.
Okay, so no one is leaving Kamba lighter than when they first arrived.
Yeah, they go back with at least 2 kgs.
Glance, I want to just touch on the animals that we're going to see. You say it's very different to the safaris. So let's talk about the bigger game that people can see. Of course, there is the gorillas we've touched on already, and people are going to know. We've spoken about the elephant. Give us 3 or 4 other big game that people are going to see while they're visiting Kamba.
The other 3 game I can name, they can see hippopotamus. We have a nice population of hippo. just like a 20 minutes drive from Mboko camp. There's a special place that we can take them there and to view them. And there's a nice forest, which we can see also this animal we call a bongo, which is a very elusive animal like a nyala or kudu from South Africa, very big and yellow orangey with white stripes. And also, if you are lucky, we can have like a leopard, but that's very elusive. Another one, which is sometimes become a little bit too much habituated to our presence, is a spotted hyena. That animal is sometimes crossing the camp and sometimes going under the bridge, under the camp of Lango. Very different from the spotted hyena in South Africa. This one is big and apex predator, and they are hunters. So the behavior is completely different.
Okay. Now, we touched on those bigger animals, but I also want to touch on the smaller flora and fauna as well. So in South Africa, I think you're aware that there's the big five and the little five.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about some of the smaller insects or plants that really pique your interest every time you see them.
There is this in particular that came into my mind right now. It's what we call a spiny flower prayer mantis. It's a very unique prayer mantis I've ever seen. The female is pink with a white dot on the back and the shoulder with the wings, and the male is completely green and a white dot on the back. So seeing something like that, it's very special. It's very amazing. And every time we're doing like a walk with a guest, looking for them because they are on certain patch that we need to walk and to look for them, and it become a game into a walk, and people become like foraging and they really enjoy it. In Ngaga also, one of my specialty, because I like foraging with this afromamum, wild ginger fruit, which we call in our language tondolo. It's a very tiny fruit and red. It's sour with black seed, which tastes like a black pepper. I've taken all of my guests foraging into the forest after gorilla tracking, and they will go for it, bring it to the camp, give it to the chef, and he will make like a fruit salad out of it, of a smoothie. And we have this dung beetle on the way, like when we are doing the transfer from Ngaga to Mboko. You will see the dung beetle rolling this big ball of buffalo dung into a dune of sand, and you see that tiny thing rolling this big ball. It becomes something very amazing. So there is a lot, even birds. You see birds, and it's very nice.
Tina actually touched on the birds and the African grey parrots and says that you sort of see hundreds of them at a time.
Yeah.
That must be something quite amazing.
Exactly. Especially when they are landing into the bay, and you see them and you see all these birds, the predator birds like Africa fish eagle or palm-nut vulture and sparrowhawk, standing into the trees, watching them and wait until they will land, and they will jump, they will glide to come and pick one and to get one. And you see all those parrots flying away, this red tail, and the white chest, is gray chest, is very amazing. If you can see 100 up to 200 in one morning.
Sounds fantastic. Now, the journeys that you spend on the river, you have a form of crocodile there, and of course you have the hippos. Tell us a little bit about the safety of canoeing using the river as transport.
We operate on the small arm of the river, which we call the 𝐸𝐸𝐸 River. That section, it's up to 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers long. So the thing is that on that section of the river, we have crocodile, but which we have mainly the slender snouted crocodile, which is a crocodile with a long bill, long beak, and specialized into fishes. It's piscivorous. For a human, it's harmless. You will see us countless times. I've seen them with guests on boat and kayak, jump into the water and run away, disappear. We have the Nile crocodile, but not on the section that you operated, because there is no banks of sand for them to come and have a sunbath. So they are more like 3 or 4 kilometers away from the section that we operate, the river that we call Mamile. So that's one of the main things that make us choose that section to do a kayak. Hippopotamus have seen on the main river maybe twice or 3 times since I'm here. Like it's almost like 4 to 5 years I'm working here. They don't like those river with enough of water and the current is so strong. They will be just inside the forest where they will find a nice pond and they will get there. We can see them and we know how to deal, because as guide, that's part of our training. So we have some protocols, some SOPs. When we see hippo, and we feel that our guests are not feeling uncomfortable, we cancel the trip and we call a boat for a rescue. The boat will take us and bring us where we want to start our walk. So everything has been put in place to ensure the experience is not disturbed or to jeopardize the life of our guests.
Okay. And now I spend a lot of time on the Zambezi River. And at
Yeah.
times on the Zambezi where it's nice and clear, I can take a swim. Can I swim in the river as well if it's nice and clear and you feel that it's safe?
In the river, it's doable, but we need to put some logistics in place, like having a boat 30 minutes behind us and we can float down. But there is this river that we call at the river deck at Mboko camp. This area, very nice. The river is very shallow and you can swim and you can have like a cooler box or you can provide a waiters with you with drink so that you are swimming and you are enjoying at the same time. My favorite activity that I call floating down from Mboko camp to the embarcadero where we have our canoes. So I've done it a couple of times and it's very enjoyable with guests, and you float down, you walk, and there are some places where it's a little bit deep enough, like 1.5 meters or 2 meters. So you swim and then you reach a bank, you walk again. So those activities are doable on that stretch of Mboko.
Okay, fantastic. Now, we've spoken about coming to the camps, but actually the idea of coming to the Republic of Congo, where people might mix that up with your bigger brother north of you, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the nonsense that goes on in that country. What can you tell people about the Republic of Congo that would make them feel safe about coming to visit?
I think the first thing is that Kamba is doing a good job by pointing out that there is 2 different countries. We have a DRC, which stands for Republic Democratic of Congo, and our Republic of Congo. So this small country is the Republic of Congo where the Odzala National Park is and Kamba operated. I would say just take some testimonies from people who came here before and you'll see how safe it is. Even through our website, our social media, with Kamba social media, you'll see how the life is different. You go and see that Brazzaville is completely different. Even though we are sharing like a river as a barrier between those 2 countries, but it's 2 different countries with 2 different ways of operating, 2 governments, we are very different. The little Congo, if I can say that, is the safe one.
Tell me a little bit more about what the people are like, Glance, the locals. Are they happy? Tina spoke about the fact that you do fly most of your guests between Brazzaville and the camps, but it is drivable as well. So let's say, as an example, I'm driving from Brazzaville to start at Ngaga, and
Okay.
I break down halfway, okay? What are the locals going to be like when they see a bunch of foreigners broken down on the side of the road?
I think just the language barrier, which will be completely something that you take into consideration. The Congolese people, as far as I know, they are very welcome people and they are very warm. They are really, really ready to help someone, especially if it is like I say, a white guy, which we call Mundele. So they'll be happy because they will see, okay, let's share some of our energy to make him his journey very, very nice. And they will willingly, gladly to help you if you have to change a tire, if you want a mechanics, and they can just take you to the next village where there is a big mechanics, and the guy will come and fix the car. Truly speaking, you will give some money because it's a service, but you will be harassed by people, will not be attacked by people. In contrary, they will open doors for you to sleep into their house. And sometimes, if the mechanics will take much longer, they will say, okay, we have a room here. They will provide a room for you. And food, if you can eat Congolese food, that would be nice. Otherwise, they'll provide some things for you to eat and you enjoy the stay at that place until you reach Odzala.
Glance, we're coming to the end of our chat. Tell me, what are your hopes for the future of tourism in the Republic of Congo?
That's a big question, and it's the question that I'm still thinking about and working towards it. And I think I will put it in this sense. With what Kamba is doing, training Congolese for this tourism industry, which like 20 years ago was completely closed and completely non-existent. Now the country is opening up and people are coming. I have this figure coming from a sister company which we call Lowland too, and they told me that they accept 11,000 guests in the country last year. So it means that things are changing and the tourism are evolving. So we need some standards coming from Kamba with the training that they are providing for the guests, because most of our guests, they came from South Africa, they have been in South Africa, they have been in those luxury industry where they have been pampered, and you have a nice room, you have a guide who is completely friendly and open up. And it's something that we lack here. We have Kamba, which provide it. I can say gladly that Kamba give it to us, and have been out with some friend, and I could see that Kamba is doing a good job by training us and by putting us into this wonderful industry. And even one of the ministers, she came here, she found out that the guide here is a highly standard guiding skills. So with that requirement and the guests that are coming, I think it's skyrocketing in industry, which is going into the good direction.
That's fantastic. And so in the next few years, we're going to see you maybe as the Minister of Tourism for the Republic of Congo, or we're still going to see you back at Kamba?
Maybe both. Maybe I will still be in Kamba and then become a Minister of Tourism, which is a good thing that I'm looking forward, because I have some good idea also concerning our tourism. And yeah, why not? Open-minded, become a Minister of Tourism. It's a plus. It's a soft power that we need to bring into the good direction.
Glance, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate your time and energy and learning more about Kamba and hearing more about the Republic of Congo. I really want to come visit sometime soon.
I'll be happy to take you and to make you visit the country. Thank you for having me.
What a motivating conversation. Thank you so much, Glance, for sharing your story and for everything you're doing to grow African tourism. Don't forget, every week we feature fantastic prize giveaways from some of Africa's most beautiful lodges, camps, and travel partners. You could win your own unforgettable getaway just by listening, subscribing, or visiting www.keeptraveling.africa/podcast, or read more about today's guest by scanning through the show notes of today's episode. Don't forget to follow Keep Traveling on social media for the latest episodes, stories, and travel inspiration. I'm 𝐸𝐿𝐴, and this has been Keep Traveling, your African story. Remember, a few years from now, you won't remember how much it cost you, but you'll always remember the memories you made. Keep traveling.